Okay, I got my Wossner piston, Wossners, whatever pistons in here yesterday. And I'm just going through them to check to see if they're advertising what they said they were. Because they said 270 grams lighter than stock. And that seemed like a big jump to me. So I wanted to check them out and see. But what we got here, just with the piston and the wrist pin in there, we are at 440 for the high compression Wossner piston. And then if we take the stock piston and wrist pin, we are at 565. So quite a bit of difference there. And then if you add in the extra wrist pin keeper and you put the rings up on here, we are at 604. So 604 for the stocker. And then if we take our Wossner piston, Wossner, whatever it is, add our rings on there, we're at 459. So quite a bit of difference there. 604 to 459. Not 270 grams worth, but still. So what we got is our more modern ring package with the high compression Wossner piston here, compared to these rather agricultural looking really thick rings. These older ones are quite a bit thicker. Oil rings thicker, top rings thicker, second rings thicker. It's just bigger ring package. And more prone to flutter and just heavier all the way around. So more modern stuff here. I think I measured the top ring for these custom pistons like 0.9 or 1 millimeter, compared to the stock was like 1.4, I think. Second ring was like 1.2 for this, and on those it was like 2 millimeters. So quite a bit of difference. Now, as far as the dome goes, let me see if I can show you how this dome looks on here. We're just going to put our two pistons together, like so. And the one on the left there is the new piston, as you can tell. Dome's quite a bit bigger on it. I want to say it's 6.2 or 6.8 cc difference between the new one and that one, which gives us our full 1 point of compression, or we're taking it from 8.2 on this piston to 9.2 on that one. Still not very high in my book, but higher than stock. And as far as this one goes, this is coated with a moly coat on the skirts there. It comes like that, so I don't need to coat those, but I'm putting ceramic coating on the top of this. And I will put a moly coat on the wrist pin here, on the wrist pin too. So I'll be moly coating the wrist pins. The valves are already nitride coated, so I don't need to do those. No, but I will do the tips of the rocker arms and push rods, and I'll recoat the lifters too, or coat the lifters at the push rod end, the body, and the cam side. where it rides down on there. All right, so I'm weighing the wrist pin clips here, which I don't even actually get a reading on. I guess my scale wouldn't go down fine enough. But let me see here. 0, 2 grams. So 2 grams for the new wrist pin clips, which are actually the wire clips, versus the stock circlips. So I just figure those are 2 grams a piece, so 4 grams for those versus 2 grams for both of the other ones. Quite a bit lighter. Our ring package is, these are the stock ring package here. Stock ring packs, 37 grams. Versus, I'm just going to leave these in the package there. 37 grams versus 21 grams, so just figure 20 grams for the new more modern ring pack. And our wrist pins were quite a bit lighter too. Everything's lighter on these things. I mean, look at that. Look how big that thing is. That's the stocker there. The new ones, let me pull it out again, show you. What they did here, because the piston's quite a bit smaller down on the sides here. More modern, like a slipper piston. Not really a slipper piston, but a hell of a lot slimmer than the stocker there. And the setup, this one, wrist pin clips go outside the piston there, so they just go on the wrist pin. So if you look at, what would we say that was? $145 grams versus 87 grams. I mean, you can see the difference in them too. Same diameter, because they have to be. But on this here, what they've done is the wrist pin's actually tapered in the end. I don't know how well you can see that. It's tapered down. It's fatter in the middle here where it needs to be, and then it tapers up at the edges. So that's cool. But all in all, great looking setup. Forged piston versus cast. You can see down in there where they've CNC cut that. So nice setup, and they should be for the amount of money they cost. Which, you know, I gotta admit they're more than they used to be, but they're not really that much more compared to other stuff that is going up. Was it worth it doing this, or should I have gotten held out for an R100 kit, big bore kit? Probably not. It wasn't in the budget because I'm nowhere near done this bike. So yeah, you have to take into consideration I still have to paint it and need tires, and going to need this, going to need that. Might need to do a cam chain to it. Everything else inside appears pretty decent. I'm still going to pull the transmission so I can take a look at the oil pump just to make sure there's nothing wrong with it. Had good oil pressure, but you're going this far down with all new stuff. You should probably check it, which I'm going to. But still have to paint pull the front timing cover off and check the cam chain and the tensioner, which may or may not need replaced. We'll see when I get in there to inspect it. Didn't make any weird noises, but it's You don't know how much wear it's got to it. So we will check it. And, you get into this stuff and you're like, well, I'm in here, I better do this. I'm in here, I better do that. And that's cool, but still you got, and kind of lost interest in it, and it sat and sat and sat, and I was going to, then bought a house and we moved, and I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna hang on to it and just go through it, because there ain't no point trying to get rid of it just to get rid of it. Especially if you like doing stuff like this, you always want to do more. Especially if you're doing videos, you might help somebody out. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see what happens. This BMW stuff isn't like American or Japanese stuff where you can readily find performance parts for them. They're just very few and far between. You're building Harley. I mean, other than the valves are easy to get. They did make those Kibbolite and the valve springs too, and neither the valve springs or the valves were really outrageously expensive. They're the same price as everybody else. As far as if we're buying Harley stuff or Honda stuff or Suzuki or whatever, they're all about the same price, really close. Pistons, though, not so much. There's like Siebenrock, who Wossner makes the piston, or Wossner, however you say it, makes the pistons for them, which is a German company. So you don't have Weisco, you don't have J&E, you don't have C&P pistons. They'll make them, but they're going to cost you a hell of a lot more than these to do. And typically, what they do, like J&E, I could design pistons in a CAD program and send it to J&E, and they'll make whatever dome specification I want, whatever height, wherever I want the rings at, whatever ring package I want, they'll make them. But you're going to buy 4 pistons for them to justify making them. You need to buy 4. Well, I only need 2 pistons for this thing. So, and the same with some other piston manufacturers. They'll make them, but you're going to buy multiples than what you need. So between this bike and but you got to do what you got to do. Harley stuff, you got how many different people make pistons for them? How many different people make cams, valve springs, valves, any size you want, any flavor you want, pretty much. You want a really good mid-range cam, you got them. You want any kind of 5 different piston manufacturers, you got pistons for them. Different ignition systems, you got a ton of them. You got more variety, because face it, they sell Harley, and the Japanese sell a hell of a lot more bikes than BMW or Triumph or anybody else does. Not that stuff's not available, but it is going to be. You're not going to have the choice you do with some other stuff. You're looking at cams. Probably webcam or Megacycle will make cams for this thing, but then again, too, you're going to pay for them. Which, to be fair, making cams is a lot of work, and they shouldn't be that cheap to begin with, because it is a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of smarts making a cam. But that's neither here nor there. We were just talking about these pistons here. So I'm supposed to go look at a car now, somewhere down the road. And I was just looking at guy had a 63 International Harvester step side pickup for sale up the road there, cheap. Would have had to get a bonded title for it, but it ran. Problem was, it was only a 4-cylinder in a big step side International Harvester. So I think it thing made like 90 horsepower or something, that week. But neat looking truck. Anyway, wasn't quick enough. I looked at it one day, and instead of calling the guy and say, I need to come take a look at it, I waited the next day, and when I looked, it was already sold. So if something hot happens like that, you need to jump on it. And I'm like, man, that would have made a good shop truck right there. Beautiful little piece. Not with the 4-cylinder, but the shape of the truck was very nice looking. So maybe next time. And I like an International. They're neat. They're tough. Lot of metal on there. If you know, you know. Anyway, everybody take care. Have a great week. Appreciate you guys. Take care.